And there was something amazing 4 or 5 months ago, August, September, where, dude, everybody saw, every comment, it was the Pudgies in the comment section. Bro, that was viral, and everybody knows it. So if y'all are about to flip the penguins, right? We're about to flip the apes. That I think the number one project to do that in the world is Pudgy Penguins. And we're not saving the Pudgy Penguins. The Pudgy Penguins don't need salvation. We are strong enough. We don't need salvation, right? What we need is a leadership that has experience in business. Just because you have 100, 200 penguins doesn't mean you're qualified to run a project, right? Let's truth be told, doesn't mean you're qualified to run a business. So the people that we're assembling have a massive business acumen. We're talking to billionaires. I sat down with a couple billionaires today, and was sharing with them the project, the vision. Not that we need to raise money, but I want seniority. I want influence. I want people that can actually move the narrative forward. That's what we want. So at the end of the day, I've sat down the last couple of days. I've been in the huddle chat. I appreciate CBO SOS hosting a lot of these AMAs. I've been tuning into a lot of them, just listening. So I appreciate you doing that, by the way. And at the end of the day, what I realized is I think we're all in with the same objective, And something that I told Luca the other day, and I think that this is the big friction point, like people are like, well, we don't want to give these kids, we don't want to put any more money in these kids' pockets. Okay, that's understandable. But if you look at any sort of legal divorce, right, there's no 100% to zero, right? There needs to be some sort of compromise. And to believe that we can bully these kids into just giving up the project into the hands of people that they don't know, that they don't trust, seems ludicrous, and it doesn't seem realistic. And if I was in their situation, I wouldn't do that either, right? Because it's like, yeah, they might have fumbled the bag very, very big, and let's all agree, like a rod inside an egg is the dumbest shit on the planet, right? Anybody in here would have at least put a little Pudgy in there. Let's just be honest, right? So at the end of the day, that's where I'm coming from. When Luca hit me up, me and Luca have been in business for a while. We have a very big background in doing business direct to consumer. And when we saw this opportunity, because it was one of our first plays, I've been in crypto for a really long time. It was the first play that we really went heavy into the NFT space. And when Luca DM'd me about it, and I guess I'll post it. I'll post our text message screenshot from August, where he was like, he posted a screenshot of the Pudgies, and he said, "This is it." And I said, "I saw it too," and I believed him, and he was right. And they went to the moon. And the truth was, nobody was expecting it. And I think that nobody is expecting another recovery. People are skeptical. But the reason people are skeptical is because of the leadership that was there. And like Luca said, at the end of the day, people could have fumbled the bag, but I want to move forward. I don't care. I don't care. We're sitting close to 2 ETH floor. I want to take the shit to 50 ETH. If y'all are with me, let's fucking do it, dude. I when Luca hit me up, he's like, bro, let's be polite. Let's do this. Bro, I want to be straightforward with y'all. We're in the space together. The crypto market is tanking. People have lost a ton of money. Some people have made a lot of money. But at the end of the day, we have the opportunity to make history. Like, we really do. This has never been done before. And I promise you, we can be pioneering this space that other really big, companies or really big entrepreneurs or people that know how to build multi-billion-dollar companies can go into other projects and acquire a percentage of it and help them grow. To assume that 4 20-year-old something kids out of college can build a multi-billion-dollar business is ludicrous when they have no experience whatsoever, right? So, if you, when you're investing into these things, when you're buying these things, right, you're joining because of the team. You're joining because of the team. So if you're out here buying 300 Pudgies and you're putting your trust in a 20-year-old that has no business experience, at the end of the day, like, you're responsible for that, right? But what we can deliver is a senior team with massive experience, very well connected in this space. And when we roll out the deck of the new core team of this project, everybody's mouths, in this case beaks, are going to drop because we've assembled, and the people that have hit us up are ultra superstars in this space. So anyways, that's kind of the perspective, the objective, and I'm here with Luca. So Luca hit me up. We've been doing, like I said, business for a while, and I said I'm in. And the reason I'm in is because Luca has built multi-million-dollar businesses, has built relationships with some of the biggest influencers on the planet. So when he came to me with the opportunity, understanding his experience, understanding his resume, understanding his credibility, understanding where he stands in the industry, all right, I'm in because at the end of the day, the Pudgies may be cute, but the team behind it has to be ruthless. They have to go attack this like a real business. And we were talking about the idea of a DAO and how this is just a term that's been tossed loosely. And at the end of the day, there have to be people that assume the responsibility, put their big boy pants on, and go attack this. Go get partnerships. Go get licensing. Go offer the licensing. Go get brand deals. Go make money for everybody. Like there's needs people that do this, and we genuinely believe that we are those people. Why? Because we've done it before and we can do it again, especially with this project. Like this is amazing. And the opportunity at hand is limitless. All we need is support. We can't do it without you guys. 100% can't do it without you guys. We need you, right? And it's not we just need the Pudgies. We need everybody, right? We need everybody involved because what we're doing here is beyond just Pudgies. This is for the entire space where qualified entrepreneurs with massive business acumen experience can come in and do what? Revolutionize the space. Revolutionize the space. I want I want to see, cool cats. I want to see Oni Force resurrect. I want to see these projects be able to be taken by the hand by a lot of successful people and deliver something to their communities. So I appreciate you guys just being able to host this. I appreciate the opportunity. So Luca rang me. He's like, "Yo, let's hop on the AMA." So yeah, I'm here. So appreciate you guys for having me. And yeah, that's a little bit of a little New Year's spiel.
Well, I appreciate you being here, Stacks, and I just wanted to clarify for the people who might have been on the call last night, and Luca and I had spoken a little bit. Luca came into the huddle, but it is a whole team that we're getting here, right? It's
Yeah,
multiple people.
dozens of people,
Yeah.
massive investors, entrepreneurs. When I say your beaks will fall off, we're not joking. We're not coming here to just what this is not like a cash grab. This is a play for legacy. Everybody in here that owns the Pudgy Penguins wants to see this succeed. And in order to see it succeed, it doesn't you can't do it with four people that are taking college classes, unfortunately, right? Like it's just not part of the narrative. We need people that are dedicated, people that understand the space, people understand market making, people understand sentiment, people understand how the markets play, people that have connections, real world event resources, advertising, influencers. There's so many loops and dynamics that need to come into place. Like the fact that there's not moderators 24/7 on chat is a disgrace. Next, by this time, 2 weeks from now, you better believe we'll have moderators 24/7. Not only in English, we'll have a full-on Chinese chat open and operating 24/7 because we have a ton of Chinese influencers. Not only is our team, devised of a ton of successful crypto and real world entrepreneurs, but we have people from all over the world. We're going to have people representing us from Singapore, representing us from North America, South America. We have people representing us from Europe. These are all people that are coming together. So we've tried to diversify this as much as possible with not only our talent and our resources, but people that we trust, right? People that we trust. And that's important. You need to have a team that trusts each other, people that work together well. And I think that that's what we're assembling. So I love it, dude.
Awesome, awesome. And just again, we got a lot of requests. So if you guys are getting back channeled by your team saying, tell this jerk to let me on stage, let me know. Because I have, I don't know who's requesting to come up here and ask some questions, and who's up here part of the team. One thing I wanted to touch upon with you guys, and again, this was gone over for the huddle last night privately, but publicly. I mean, the deal's not closed yet, right? We're close to the finish line, but it's not closed. I think we need to be very clear with that because
yeah, I mean, like Luca said, we're doing our due diligence, so we're in the process of analyzing everything because we're not buying a pack of gum at Walmart, right? So we need to do our due diligence, and we need to make sure that our everything checks. And once that's done, we'll kind of huddle back up and let you guys know what the game plan is. And I saw somebody that said like Pool Paradox on Huddle said, "Who are these dozens of experts and billionaires?" Well, you guys will find out soon. So he said vaguely referencing. It's not a vague reference. In due time, you guys will find out. But rest assured, it's true.
Yeah, and from our leadership perspective, like it's important that we lead by example and like have full transparency across the board. So, whoever's involved in any shape, way, or form, it's going to be we're an open book. So it's a full expectation internally.
Yeah, and I fully respect that you guys wouldn't want to lay out the entire strategy right now. But if you're down, I'm going to open up the floor for some questions. I've invited some people up.
Yep.
We'll get to them one by one. You cool with that?
And just the reason why people are saying, okay, so we got Cyborg said, where's the transparency? Why do you? Well, when the deal closes, you guys will find out. Until then, I don't think it has massive relevancy in the. I'm kind of answering these questions, but yeah.
Well, listen, for my own part, I think the huddle's been used to over promising and under delivering, so I don't mind a little under promising and over delivering.
And we completely respect that. Like we understand, like you guys. I mean, agency, you're familiar. Like I have PTSD with you guys. Like I bought these things pretty much at the top, and that's fine, but I was communicating with you on Instagram for a long time now, right? Like I'm not just appearing with my concerns or my reservations. I've had these for a while. If you go on the Instagram, you can see my comments all over the place. Though I regret some of them because like now, as I understood the situation, like I said, like part of me, forgives them for how things transpired. And I think we all should forgive them because again, it's a new chapter in history. But that's kind of like it's nothing new, and I understand, and like everybody has every right, and I wouldn't expect anything less, honestly. So
awesome, Moose, you're up. You got a question for these guys?
No question. Moose here, ready to support you guys from here to the sky and back. I've been a part of the Penguins, from the beginning. I'm not sure if I was ever, introduced to you guys or you were ever introduced to me, but it's a pleasure to be up here. It's a pleasure to speak with you guys. It's a pleasure to, see what's going to happen for the future and what the future holds for this. I am my Penguin. My Penguin is me. We're all here. We're all a community together. We all love each other. Let's keep going. Let's kill it together. Everybody here's got to show support. They obviously want to see this do well, and it's not like they're just doing something. I'm speaking on behalf of you guys and being a member. They want to see it do well as much as us. And they all seem like great, genuine people. So let's all give it a shot. I'm so excited for this. I'm ecstatic. If you guys need anything along the way, Moose is here. And let's just kill this, guys. Let's just kill it. I'm so excited.
Love it.
If that isn't August vibes, having Moose being extremely enthusiastic on a huge space, I don't know what is. Good to have you here, Moose.
Let's go.
Let's go, man. I forget what order I brought you guys up. Cosmic, you got a question for these guys?
I actually don't have a question, but I'm really happy that this is finally happening. Funny though that it took fishing rods to get us all together. But yeah, really, really excited, and I hope there's a Disney movie coming up because Pudgy penguins are super cute. I can really see a movie coming out there. Yeah, I think we should all make it.
Love it. PP McGee, questions for these guys?
Hey, what's up, guys? Listen to you and the other dude from Minable last night, and like you, Luca, I was about to die because I was so tired, but I had to listen in. What I thought was really impressive, and I'm not going to throw him under the bus or anything, but he was saying, this is what we want to do. This is what we want to do. And when he said, if we don't get the deal, I'm going to sell my Penguin. And he had bought it like 4 days ago. And you've been with us for 5 months, and you held it all the way down, and you're still here, and you still see potential. Really impressive. And when you were asked about the Wrap Penguins, you said, I love these guys. I mean, it's all about Web3. They should be able to do what they want, because if you were to stop them, then you're saying you don't believe in the future of Web3. So really won me over last night. So I just wanted to see if you had contact with the Wrap Penguin folks, and if you guys plan on trying to work together and move forward.
Yeah, so I actually spoke to them, and they really provided amazing clarity to the situation, and it was honestly a blessing that we've had these discussions, and they've been nothing but kind, and they're awesome people in the space. And so just from the brief conversations that I've had with them, they're all class acts, and I think they're real integral parts of the community. And I think there's a happy balance in which we can all live cohesively and grow. And at the end of the day, like, I value them just like I value everyone else, and everyone's going to have an opinion, and I will listen to every single opinion to make the right decision. And so I have had these discussions, and they've been really eye-opening. So I definitely think there's a lot of interesting things that we're going to take. And beyond that, like, I think to your point, like, if you want to wrap your Penguins, you can wrap them, and like, we're still one huddle, and you can choose to do what you want. Everyone's free. And it would be totally against my mission as a human being to say I don't support these, because if you're wrapping your Penguins, it's because I'm not doing a good job, and I want to know that you feel that I'm not doing a good job.
One quick question.
Sorry, somebody called me. Somebody.
Other people talk. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, sorry. I hate when people call me, but nonetheless, I had an analogy. When I was younger in high school, I actually wanted to be a rapper, right? And it's kind of a little joke here, but for 2 years I tried to be a rapper, and I wanted to be one, and then I decided that rapping wasn't for me, and then I moved on. So like, you guys have the same freedom, and we can all do what you guys want, and I embrace everybody equally with the same amount of love, and you guys are all welcome in the huddle, wrapped or unwrapped. It makes no difference to me.
One quick question. I don't know if you answered it because I kind of hopped in late, but last night I heard you explain why you love the Penguins. And for the people that weren't there, I would love for them to hear your explanation.
Yeah, of course. So, the Penguin collection is an interesting one, because I feel like it's the only NFT collection, at least me personally, and everybody has their own tastes and preferences. But when I go on OpenSea and I go to the Penguin collection, I smile. And I think that's a really powerful and important emotion. And I feel like the world needs a little bit more of that. And if you have artwork that makes people smile, right, in cohesion with, pushing adoption, right, then if the more people that see these Penguins, the more people that smile. And like, I think that's really important and awesome. And like, I think there's very few, things more cute than a bowl cut cross-eyed penguin, right? And I told you guys this yesterday, but like, if you look at a bowl cut cross-eyed penguin and you don't smile, then I don't know what's going on over there, but like, dude, those things are awesome, and all of them make you smile, and all of them emit joy. And I think, like, how powerful could that be if I bear the responsibility with the team and I, and as a community, we go and push these beacons of light to the world? Like, that's just going to be awesome. Like, we can create something amazing and impact people in a positive way. And it's a very unique situation where, like, I don't feel that way with any other of these projects, just me personally, and everybody has their preference. But like, that's what's really important to me. And like, I'm not just preaching this like here, like, my narrative has always been this for years. And like, you guys can just like do your due diligence on me, and that narrative is there. Like, I really like I feel like we all die one day. And so what matters is our legacy, right? And so like, imagine, a part of our legacy being like, we made more people smile. and made more people happy and crack a chuckle because of these little pudgy penguins. And to me, that's the real foundation as to what's driving me to say, hey, I want to stop most of what I'm doing and go head first into making this the most, widely known, widely seen, crypto project or NFT project out there.
Cool. Thanks.
Love it. Thanks, PP McGee, for your questions. Brady, what's up, man? You are a valued huddle member, bro.
Yeah, here things to start. Hey everybody. I'm Luca, you and your team, you really convinced me on that you want to do the things you to drive this vision for the Penguins, and I also agree with the vision. I think it's like this making people smile. It's a great selling point. And you also convinced me about the marketing route with having this international approach, also including people in Asia, because I feel we kind of neglected them, even the European folks. It was a lot of American focused stuff with the Miami event that got a lot of lashback because it didn't really include people all across the world. And so what my question would be, it's a two-part question. So if you think about more of the operational route, actually the things you want to do just this year or the next 2 years, just the things you want to introduce for the collection, what would these be? And the second question would be, if you think about community ideas, if about basically projects revolving the Pudgy Penguins, and directions we could take the project in, how would you like to introduce these? Would you plan to have some DAO part, or a community fund, or just some voting structure? Would you just have a more traditional way to a forum approach where people just propose ideas and discuss them with the team? Which would be your answers to these two questions?
Yeah, so I think first it's important to fulfill on the previous team's promises. Obviously, you guys have been, sticking through this blizzard, huddled down, with the expectation that there's going to be X, Y, and Z at the finish line. And so I definitely want to take, some of the things that they had planned, and I don't want to abandon it unless the scope of the law says you have to abandon it, right? That's the only, situation where I would have to, I obviously want to do things within the confines of the law. And so that's the first one. Second one, I'm convinced that there needs to be some sort of DAO aspect in some sort of shape, way, or form. And that's just me personally. And, the team and I are discussing it. And a lot of the reasons why we're not disclosing the teams because the team is not completely finalized. I'm talking to a lot of people and digging in the deepest parts of my Rolodex, and everybody else is doing the same. And we're trying to find the most elite people, even if it's at an advisory role or whatever it is. We just want the brightest minds. And once that's concrete, obviously that stuff will be, transparent with you guys, and you guys will know. But we're just really in the process of finalizing it. And I like to execute chronologically. A lot of people like to, maybe jump ahead of things. But right now I have an objective, and that is, do our due diligence, make sure that what we're purchasing has integrity and can stand, and that, we can do this, in the right way. And then, step two is focus on, the collaborations we have in mind, pushing adoption, marketing, developing the tech side, implementing some sort of DAO. These are the type of things that are on the horizon once we get objective one done. At the end of the day, if I can't pull off objective number one, then all the future planning is relatively redundant. We have enough smart minds and people who are experienced that once this thing is solidified, it's going to be very quick that we're going to be able to assemble, an executable roadmap in a reasonable timeline to blow this thing out of the water. Now, at a glance, I have a million things that I want to do, and I have a million connections to do the things that I want to do. And so, us blowing this out of the water is honestly the last thing I'm worried about, and making you guys happy and all that type of stuff. I know we're gonna figure that out. But just objectively, we have to, cross the first bridge, and then we're gonna move on to the next and share with you guys all the awesome things we have planned, because they're incredibly awesome.
Yeah, I think that's a good take. And when it comes to like these like ideas with like the DAO and the advisory roles, I think it's like a nice approach to have like ideas that are basically like championed by people, and then just like people just like vote on it or even like delegate votes here. Because I feel like a DAO, like one of the downsides is that it's like kind of inefficient with when it comes to like the voting. There's like a lot of holders or huddlers that don't want to be involved like too actively. They just like want to check back into the community or have fun. And then are these people that like really want to build. So I think it's like it could be an interesting approach to do it that way, like how you proposed it. And so also I would like to comment. I'm like done with my question. And it's like kind of courageous to like pick up this project like in the current situation because as you mentioned earlier, since you're like open to like accepting the wrapped penguins, like the wrapped penguins are basically like yeah, like they're capturing the mood of the community. So like if the community likes what the team is doing, they basically will like support you by like unwrapping if they have wrapped to like give the like funds to you, and if they like dislike what you're doing as a team, they will like move to the wrapped penguins and like support like the decentral or more like you would want to be like a decentralized part as well, like with your DAO, but like to like a completely decentralized part, so like taking the funding away from you. And that's like really interesting because it's like courageous and it's also like an interesting situation for you. It also has like some upside, I think. So if you like fuck up on like some things, but like don't realize it yourself, but you there will be like some like warning signs from the community because you will realize, wait, wrapping rate is going up. So that's like a kind of interesting like market, customer, community research tool.
I think it's a beautiful thing. Like I really to the bottom of my core do. Like this is the beauty of Web3 and the beauty of decentralization, and like it holds people accountable. And if they end up succeeding, it will be because I did not execute on the things we did not execute on the things that we said we would. But I wouldn't be doing this, and none of us would be doing this if there was a sliver of doubt in our mind that we could do what we're doing. I think part of me is like, yes, it's a little scary, but admittedly, and I think everybody kind of agrees, the bar is so low. So like,
true.
I'm picking up the bar from the floor. So all I can do is like, like, and
there's
so
only
like,
one. There's only one way, and it's up. Like, the truth be told, we there's a lot to work with here. All the building blocks are here because the former team didn't have the manpower, the resources, the experience to build a house. So we have blueprints. We've built businesses before. We've built influence. We've built access points. We've done real world events. We've built communities, and I think that experience can translate into this ecosystem. And I understand what everybody's saying. We're in a period right now where people are like, okay, soon, but when? Soon when? Yeah, well, right now, like Luca said, we're doing this due diligence, and once we have that, I think everybody's going to get the answers that the community deserves. So just give us a chance. We just jumped into this because we saw that there was a need, and we wanted to be able to help, and we're working tirelessly. Luca just hit me up. He hit me up at 6 a.m. and he's like, "Yo, can you hop in huddle chat? I'm gonna take a nap." I'm like, "All right, I'm down." So we're here. We're listening. We're paying attention. We've been here for months. This is a new Twitter account. My other one got disabled. I don't know for what reason. So it got disabled. So people asking me, this is a new account. This is an account that I used to have. I started using it right now. So that's the reason for that. But yeah, guys. So I'm excited for this. I know Luca calls me all the time. He's like, "Bro, like, what if we do this?" I'm like, "That's a great idea. What if we do this? That's a great idea." And back to your point, Bright, about the rapping, I think that's genius. And I think that what this is what Pudgy's is. We're innovating not only in this dynamic, but in every other dynamic. Now, other projects are probably going to start producing these wrapped versions to keep these projects accountable and to kind of have this accountability factor tied into Web3. And I think, like Luca said, I think it's dope. I really think it just shows that there's so much innovation and so much stuff that can be built. I think it's awesome.
Yeah, I think it's like a plus for like both sides, like for the community, but it's also a plus for actually the team. Like imagine like big companies that put like a ton of money into like doing like customer research and like researching like into like the consumer base. If they have like this easy metric, like easy to capture metric, It's like, yeah, you just like look at the rep percent, and the moment you like fuck something up, you probably will realize, wait, why is this going up? We probably should like reconsider our last decision. And if people like really like stuff, there will be like maybe a ton of people that have rep previously coming back. So I think it's like also helpful for the company side.
Yeah, facts. And I think it's cool, you know, like you can't go and check Amazon, you can't go and check Facebook. And I know it's a weird comparison, but there is no sort of community check. What, you stop using the platform, you know, like you're not going to stop using Twitter, you know, even if you don't like their policies or how they're operating. But I think that like you said, that accountability factor, I think it's like I'm watching a lot of people, you know, we're innovating in so many ways, and if we have those resources, that firepower, that team, I think the future is bright. And like Luca said, we're picking up the bar from the ground. So I think the only way is up.
And
it was also really, really sad before, like if you disagreed with the team, like what was happening, like basically the only way, like as a community, how you could really make a statement is like selling, but like even then you gave royalties to the team. So it was basically like you had to like, you could get like out and like sell, but then like if bad things happened, you also sold low. So we were like kind of like trapped in, so you couldn't really like vote on your opinion with like any meaningful like any meaningful measure. But like now it's possible, and I think it's like really, really interesting. Like I believe like a centralized entity at the top is like the way easier route, and probably short term at least, and way more efficient route. But like having like this DAO option, just like in the Web3 space, and like with me being like an idealist, being around since like the early Bitcoin days, I really like this, like having this around, even if I don't necessarily think it will become like the dominant option. We will see. Like it depends on like how like the centralized parts like handle this. But I think it's just like interesting to exist.
Agreed. And actually, agents, if you don't mind, that CEO Paulo is requesting to come up, if you don't mind.
Okay, absolutely. I'm adding him. And Brady, thank you for your questions, man,
Yeah,
and
I'll
your
pass
perspective, as always. And I did want to welcome Cameron to the stage.
Hey, Cameron.
Hey guys, how are you all doing today?
Hey Cameron, love your PFP, brother.
Thank you, man. I'm excited to be a Pengu.
And Cameron will be one of the people joining us on this journey. He's one of I think we're probably going to end up at between 15 and 20 something people that are going to come in collectively for the greater good of the Pengus. And Cameron will be joining us on that journey. And Cameron is, maybe Cameron, you can tell a little bit about yourself just for the people listening. Luke and I have introduced ourselves, but definitely may want to say something.
Absolutely. What's up, guys? I'm Cameron Moulin. I'm fully doxxed, comfortable with it. I have a background in Hollywood, not so much as an influencer, but as an actor, producer, screenwriter. Got very into crypto early. Was fortunate. Then found NFTs at the beginning of this year. Became really passionate about it. I've had Pudgies since they dropped, and own a wide assortment of apes and other cool assets that we're making original content around at a company that I founded called Non-Fungible Films. And the main objective there is to be bridging Web3 with mainstream media. So we're working tirelessly with one of our partners, William Morris Endeavor, on doing that. And when Luca presented this opportunity to a chat that we both are pretty active in, I jumped at it, and since then I think that this is there is no community in this space that has been more scorned and disrespected by its founders, and I think in a space that is so heavily reliant on communities, especially ones as passionate as this one, it is a huge shame. And the really exciting element of this is that we've already started discussing dozens of ways to build really creative and massive ecosystems around Pudgy penguins, and how we can really make this a community first project, which is the goal. I think a lot of people are going to have scars and ill will from former founders and owners that this was just a cash grab. And I just want to say, whatever your opinions are, whether you're a rapper for life or whatever it is, and that's fine. Our objective here is to bring value to Penguin holders that they deserve and that they should have had from the beginning. And we're excited about it. It's like, it is candidly like fucking thrilling to talk about the plans that we have, because it's, you realize like this is such an incredible, this thing has 64,000 ETH sales on secondary. Like, this is a fucking booming collection that is about to blow up yet again. So I'm really excited to be a part of this. I'm so thankful that Luca had this idea and brought us all in on it. And you know, the future is very, very fucking bright, and we're excited to hear what the community wants and thinks is best, because we want that to be an integral part of the roadmap.
Thank you, Cameron.
Love it, man. Pierre.
How's it going?
Good. What's up, man?
What's up, Big Doug? What's up? So, you know, Luca, I haven't heard you talk a lot. I was on the Discord last night listening to some of your plans. You seem bright and authentic to me, which I like. So I have good hopes for you and your team. The one thing I noticed last night is some of your plans seemed a bit more vague, which I'm sure, you know, there was you had a reason to be more vague about the plans, possible legal reasons. But I was wondering if, you know, if there's anything that you picked up from Minimal's plans that he might have gone into more detail in the Discord that you might not have had thought out, or if there's any other plans that you've come up with in the last 24 hours since that talk. You know,
Yes.
You've only had 72 hours to come up with stuff, so I understand you're probably not fully there with everything, but just curious.
Yeah. So from the plan perspective, my only issue there is at this current moment is I'm listening to everyone right now, right? And so I've been spending the last 48 hours talking to as many people about this on both sides, pros and cons, and just dissecting everything that everybody is telling me. And I feel like to lead this in the proper way, I have to hear everybody before I, can give you guys concrete expectations, because expectations lead to resentment if I don't execute on them. And the last thing I want to do is create resentment within the community. And once I lay out those expectations, they're going to be very clear so that you guys can hold not only myself, but everybody involved accountable. And so that is the only reason why we just haven't gotten there yet. But I can tell you, I mean, our experiences and our backgrounds are going to be, very, there isn't going to be somebody that we won't be able to work with. There won't be a company that I feel like I can't get to the board table, the boardroom, and discuss a deal. There, every aspect of this, from the tech side to innovating. I had mentioned, I had said something in the group chat, but I want to see if there's some sort of venture capital way that we can incorporate a DAO in which the Pudgy Penguins DAO owns equity in certain businesses, and if those businesses exit or deliver a dividend, it goes there, because I think the community is so strong and provides so much value that any one of these tech startups that is looking to engage and get a community in its first set of users, we could be a huge help there. And obviously these are things that I'm just thinking about and nothing is concrete, but I'm determined on the marketing side, the branding side, the collaboration side, and the tech side to put our best foot forward and bring the brightest people on board to execute on those expectations. So that is really kind of the where we're at now. But just know I'm not going to, once this thing is finalized, it's not going to drag out and take weeks for you guys to know what's going on. It's going to happen very quickly, very fast. There's no reason for us to procrastinate or to wait. This stuff is, with our expertise and the team involved, we all get things done very quickly. We're all, very accomplished in our own, sectors and divisions. And so like there's, we all move quick. I've worked with a lot of these guys before. And it's really going to be, snap a finger, get it done, and then just keep it moving. Like, some people like to take months doing things, and obviously certain things may require that. But, day one, it's go time.
I have a question. Just I wanted, and also all props to you guys for taking over. I mean, it's a really insane debacle that you guys are kind of jumping into hell for. So I salute to that, because it's incredible the amount of pressure and stuff you guys are probably working under. And I understand that, right, there's legal issues, there's things you want to work out before doing the brand, but I'm an old holder and I kind of missed most of the drama except for the Bloomberg situation. Without making promises or commitments that are unnecessary. Is there like, could you give like a brief TLDR on the entire situation, what's going on, and what happened essentially?
Yeah, so I mean, I think this is just a situation where, like, a bunch of kids, created an awesome product at a perfect time, and they just got overwhelmed. And again, I really encourage everybody to empathize and forgive, because that's what the huddle is about. And I know that may be hard, and I kind of touched on this earlier, but I think that's what's necessary. And we're an inclusive community. Whether we all make mistakes in life, nobody is perfect, and I don't want people to bash and to be negative towards people. Talking internally, they've committed to adding funds to a marketing wallet, and not just leaving completely on the sale, and running rampant with the money. I mean, the money they want to put is fairly significant.
And these were things that we talked to them about, that we coached them through, because these kids, that they come from little experience, right? So these are things where we want to help the community in general, and it only makes sense, right, Luca, that these people exit in the right manner. So we are even guiding a lot of these guys in this process ourselves, because we sympathize with the place where, like, these guys bit more than they could chew, and it shows, right?
And to that point,
what is the wraps in that regard? Yeah, so like, there's some things that are going on. I'm not familiar.
Yeah, so there's
that's been built.
Yeah, so there's a wrap situation where basically you can wrap your penguin, and the royalties and ownership kind of switches over to a new collection. And so it's kind of a way that, like, if you wrap your penguin, you're no longer benefiting the holding entity that is collecting the royalties from the penguins. And so like everybody on the team, like, I think it's a beautiful thing. It's a way that the people can hold the team accountable, and it has our full support. And in regards to, you had mentioned something, just plans, I think collaborations are going to be huge for us. I mean, there's a couple brands that I want to work with that I think are perfectly aligned with our mission and what we're trying to accomplish. I'm daydreaming about a Pudgy latte. I'm daydreaming about seeing Pudgy penguins in the toy aisle at your Walmart and Target. I'm thinking about the amazing clothing collaborations with all the awesome snow brands out there, from Patagonia to North Face to the list is endless. Like, I think those guys are really aligned with the huddle, and so the conversations will be had, and we will obviously do our best to give the community like the most awesome series of roadmap bullet points that we can give, and just crush it from there. And so that's just kind of a little take on the future, and maybe if there's some stuff that you still want answered in terms of the past, I can help there as well.
Yeah, just the acquisition part I'm trying to understand. So like, what exactly is being like the brand is being acquired, I guess, in a way, or what exactly?
I mean, I would look at it from two perspectives, bro. So the first perspective I would look at it from is, they don't want to exit with their for no money, right? Clearly there was some conversations that people wanted to take over for free, and they said, we're not doing that. So we put an offer together. Luca put an offer together, and it was sent over. And so you have that perspective, and then you have the other perspective, right? So I would say we're taking over the deals. Yeah, we're taking over the brand, but it was also to be able to change the leadership, right? And that meant that we had to shill some coin to make it happen, unfortunately, and it's just part of the process.
But to speak directly to the question, it's the brand. So it's the wallet from secondary. It's the accounts that have been running I'm assuming, Luca, correct me if I'm wrong.
Correct.
It's the accounts that have been running the brand, and then it'll be the ability to have IP right and usage decision making along with the community's vote towards the partnerships that Luca's talking about, and the partnerships that we all kind of ideate together. So it's like you're buying the company Pudgy Penguins. Holders still get it, but now holders have a whole new team with a lot more experience running it.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Carson, you've been waiting a while, brother.
Hey, how's it going, guys? First, I just want to say thanks for spending the time to speak with us, the entire community. I mean, I think this is it's definitely the right approach you guys are taking here. It's very commendable that you're listening to everybody. And I've liked everything you guys have said so far. You're really just spending time you're part of the community already, but really trying to understand what you guys could do that's better. But this might be just part of my ignorance here, because I wasn't part of any other meetings that you guys have had, but I mean, maybe Luca specifically. Do you mind just kind of spending a little bit of time talking about your past? I mean, you've mentioned things like you've started businesses in the past and like multi-million-dollar businesses, and I mean, it's great to hear. But do you mind just providing a little bit of background on,
Of course,
like, yourself, as well as even what those businesses are, and like, do they
Yep.
pertain to and I'll say, do they pertain to NFTs or is it outside of NFTs? Just curious.
Yeah, no, of course. So my background, just a little story on me. Grew up all over the world, bouncing house to house. Really screwed up situation growing up, but what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And when I was 16, I dropped out of high school. It was a necessary move for me to help my mom pay the bills for the house. And so I started doing that, and I took 100 resumes, I printed it out, and walked all up and down Los Angeles, Fairfax, Melrose. I ended up going to Tech Row in Santa Monica and just handing out resumes. And one of the resumes that I hand out was for a company called Ring, which is a doorbell company. And so I was I think the 7th or 8th employee there. And then by the time I left, I was just doing RMA, Q&A stuff, just a kid, so nothing impressive. But by the time I left, I had realized, look, there wasn't much upside for me here. I decided to go work a job that could potentially give me more upside. I found that was sales. And then I started, closing solar over the phone, did that really well. And then I came across Shopify and building your own websites and being able to sell stuff online. And, it kind of clicked to me instantly. And I was like, wow, this is a beautiful thing. So over the course of, 3-4 years, I was able to do north of 9 figures in revenue, just, using Facebook ads, Google ads, and, monetizing through influencers. I had an idea where I thought, influencers, could monetize their brands through D2C. And so I had spent a lot of time trying to build companies with these guys. And, this kind of developed, gave me an interesting relationship where I started making a lot of people with a lot of influence, a lot of money. And that kind of propelled my career into, having a good reputation in business, leading me down the venture capital route. I had realized at 19, I had made my first $1 million, and I'd realized it hadn't made me, very happy. And so I was trying to figure out a way in which I could be fulfilled. And so I felt like one of the most impactful ways to help people is actually through venture capital. And I think because the chain reaction of, investing in a business, that product helping people, whether it's making more money or, delivering a service, impacts people positively. Beyond that, giving the founders a chance to pursue their dream, as well as, as the business grows and scales using that capital, they hire more people, and, those families have jobs. And I think just the chain reaction of what venture capital can do is really a beautiful thing. So I dove into that, and I was really successful at that pretty early on. I just went into my Rolodex of people that I had met up until that point and started, deploying capital. That, kind of took me to the next level. And then, in 2016, kind of a rewind, I was, mining Ethereum. And so I also did well, I did well there. And then now I'm kind of transitioning. I had a moment where there was a company called Von Dutch. I had came into them and, realized that they weren't, they were kind of a dead brand, similar to Pudgy Penguins. And, they were kind of dead in the water. And then, about 18 months ago, we had worked out a deal. And, by the time I left, they went from doing, very minimal amount of money every single month to millions of dollars a month. And so, had dived there. And then from that point forward, just, seeing which SaaS, and started a SaaS with a friend of mine that is doing extremely well, and just kind of diving into, a multitude of these different businesses and partnering and taking advisory roles. And so as of recently, a part of some, pretty big companies that, my portfolio is pretty transparent, that are doing some really amazing things. And I think, those resources and those connections from some of those companies are perfectly aligned with, some of the things that I want to do in this space. And so, obviously there's, people with more decorated resumes than I, but I'm definitely proud of what I've accomplished up until this point. And I'm looking to, take a huge chapter, a huge step in my career with, doing something that I think could be not only extremely impactful and beautiful, but something that, is revolutionary in what I think this project can actually be. And, some people might, take that corny, but I really believe that the opportunity here is probably the most beautiful opportunity that I've ever had the opportunity to be a part of. And looking forward to that next step. I will say this, I know where I'm strong and I know where I'm weak. And I'm all about putting people on my team that are, strong where I am weak, because I don't know everything and I am not the smartest and I'm not the brightest, but I can tell you that I work really hard. I'm extremely passionate and I want to win. And I think these are the qualities necessary for, leadership in a business like this. And I am willing to listen to everybody and make the right decision based on the voices of not only the partners involved, but, more importantly, the community. And so that's kind of a little bit about me.
Yeah, I appreciate that. That's really insightful. I mean, one, I'm glad you saw the beauty of Shopify. I mean, so did I, but unfortunately, I had to, as a shareholder, I just saw my stock on earlier this week after it started to tank on me. But even as your VC role went along, like, are you still heavily spending time with these other companies that you've now like invested in, like from your VC days, or how?
Yeah, so I like to the way that I structure, some people give me shit for how I kind of structure my deals, but it's very like incentive based. So I definitely have advisory roles, and then I have investment roles. Obviously investment roles where my cash works for me, and that is just a pay to play type of game. And then there's other businesses in which I advise and I help and I give them strategy on the weekly basis or bi-monthly basis, whatever it may be. So I'm definitely like still committed and going to commit to continue to do what I'm doing on that front. But I think because of my roles in those companies, they also give us a really interesting advantage for what we're trying to do here. And so I think the synergy is beautiful, and everything that I do moving forward will be in the best interest of the community.
And I agree with Luca. If you and this is interesting. I've kind of always operated. I've come from a Shopify background as well. That's kind of how Luca and I connected. One of Luca's influencer teams and I, one of a group of influencers that Luca was working with, connected with me, and they instantly were like, "Yo, talk to Luca." And it was interesting because I don't know if you guys watched the Von Dutch documentary that rolled out on Hulu, but it's a crazy story. If you guys haven't watched that, you guys should totally watch it. It's like you think in clothing brand, but they went crazy. Like there's a crazy story. And I remember, LA, Von Dutch was dead. 2 years later, you're talking every celebrity, every TikToker, every Instagram influencer, Von Dutch was back. And when I can guarantee you that the reason it was back, it was because Luca and his team, they were going and hawking on these mansions, on these influencer houses, that like these houses, and dropping merch, building relationships, building connections. I was there firsthand since the beginning. When was it, Luca? What was it? A year ago, a year and a half ago today. I was like, yo, full in crypto, right? Where I told you entire net worth into crypto, and that's when it all started. And that's when we were like, okay, we're taking a little bit of a backseat approach, and we really want to invest a lot of time into crypto because it is the future, right? We're all here because we understand what's coming, and I think that the opportunity at hand that we have as a new team coming in is that we have these relationships that we've built because we've built businesses and we've dealt with real entrepreneurs that have real deals, real licensing, real company partnerships, and that it's people that like to win and like to make money and like to have influence and like to build relationships and like to make communities blow up. They want impact. They want to be superstars. And I can't imagine another project that could do it better than Pudgy Penguins. I love them. So yeah. I don't know, Luca. Should I mention maybe my background? little bit on my stuff?
Yeah, if you'd like.
Please, Stacks. Please do, man.
All right, so I come from Argentina, small little. English is not my first language. My parents kind of forced me to go to English school. I came to the U.S. at the age of 16 with $200 in a suitcase to make the fucking dream happen, and we made it happen. I started, busting tables, not busting tables, washing dishes at Buffalo Wild Wings, and then they moved me up to server, did door-to-door sales, and then in 2017. I was end of 2016. I was waiting tables, and it was really funny. One guy hits me up. He's like, "Do you know about Bitcoin?" And Bitcoin was like at $400. And at that point, I didn't. So I started buying all these books on investing and stuff like that. And I was like, "Damn, Bitcoin $600. That's expensive." Tesla was like only had a couple $100. And I remember I was like in that game for a minute. And what I would do at that moment is I would take all my tips from the restaurant that night, go to the ATM, deposit it, and go on the platform. I don't even know if it exists anymore, called Bitstamp. And that's where I would go and purchase, my Bitcoin. That's where I would go to purchase my ETH. I remember ETH was like $70, $60. I remember Bitcoin being at like $500. I remember XRP being like 10 cents. I remember buying ADA at under a penny, like just crazy times. From that point, transitioned directly to e-commerce. Once again, generated multiple 8 figures in e-commerce. Didn't do 9 figures, did multiple 8 figures. And that's how me and Luca connected. And then in 2019, one of Luca's and I's mutual friends was like, "Yo, I'm all in crypto," and he gave us the full analysis why. And that's the moment where I put my entire net worth into crypto. At the time, I was the 10th biggest holder of PancakeSwap in the world. So, I've connected with CZ on a personal level. I had a different account in the past that got banned, unfortunately, but I was big on Twitter. Does anybody even use Clubhouse anymore? I haven't been on that in a minute. But anyways, I haven't been on Clubhouse in a minute. But I was doing Clubhouses with CZ. That he hopped in a few times, so I was on there. And yeah, so my background was DeFi very early, and then we jumped into NFTs extremely early as well. So big into crypto, been in here in the beginning, and a lot of the people that come from the e-commerce Shopify background, and Luca and I, share a decent audience together. A lot of these kids that have jumped from e-commerce and resell and stuff like that into crypto full time has to do that we built this community and people transitioned with us, right? We didn't just transition and leave our people behind. Am I right, Luca? I was telling you to buy Bake. Remember, I was telling you to buy Bake at 8 cents before it went to $6. Do you remember that? We have a little video together where Bitcoin was like at 48,000 before it broke 50K for the first time, and Luca's like, "Yo, Bitcoin's 50 grand," and I'm like, and I like jump up and he filmed it, and it wasn't so. We've been in here for a while, guys, and truth be told, we know how to build communities, and we understand what communities need. We understand what communities want, and at the end of the day, what I think we all want is to see this project move forward with people that are going to deliver on what they say that they're going to deliver. And I'm looking at the huddle chat, and I've been reading all the comments here. And people are like, "Well, we want to know the roadmap." Well, truth is, guys, it's been 72 hours, and there's so many things on the table that we want to consider. And if we gave you guys a full developed answer right now, it would be false. And what we want to do is make sure that what we tell you guys we're going to do, that we actually do it. And what we don't tell you we're going to do, we rely on you guys and rely collectively to put together ideas. Because here's the truth, there's so many intelligent people here. There's so many wealthy people here, not only in the pocket, but also the mind, that we want to tap into. We have people I've been following, for example, I see Loomdart in here. Like I've been following Loomdart for a fat minute, right? So mad respect. I love you, dude. It's kind of whatever. It's kind of weird. But anyways, I've been following you for a minute. But people like that, those are people I want to connect with. Those are people I want to mastermind with. Those are people I want to tap into, because what Pudgy Penguins is giving us the ability to do is to build a collective of a mastermind. And the definition of a mastermind is when a lot of minds come together and they collectively form a mastermind. That's the definition. So I'm here, I'm supporting Luca when he hit me up. I believe in Luca, and I'm in this team. And as soon as Luca told me, he said, well, what needs to be raised? And when people are like, oh, the billionaires, that's not a joke. In the next couple of weeks, if this deal closes and everything checks out, you guys are about to have your beaks dropped. And it's not a joke. It's an absolute no joke. And it's not something that I have to say. I'm just telling you guys, expect it, because it's coming and it will happen. So it's not cap. It's not bullshit. It's facts. And if it wasn't facts, Luca would be texting me right now telling me to shut up. But it's true. So, anyways, I love the approach. One of my first things that I want to do right off the bat, and I can tell you guys, I want to not harass, but I want the huddle to go. And I don't know if you guys are familiar with Super Plastic, okay? But Super Plastic is a company that, they grab artists, and they're really cute. If you guys haven't gone to Super Plastic, but they create real physical collectibles, right? Attached to projects or attached to what do you call this? Different artists or different mannequins or stuff like that, and they turn it into physical collectibles. So that's one approach where I'm going to be like, hey guys, maybe we want to take this approach. Maybe we want to reach out to these people. But I think that the power of also getting deals and the power of also being able to tap into people is when these brands realize and see that, the community, like real human beings, are coming over to us being like, we want to work with you guys. It's not just a couple entrepreneurs that want to work with you guys. It's a collective unit, right? So I'm if you guys are ready to run this race, man, I'm ready to run this race, and we're in it to win it. So yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, I just want to say something off of that, to the point of everyone asking where's roadmap, and guys, as somebody who's been in the huddle for a long time, first as a community member and then dealing with the current, soon to be previous team, one of the biggest issues was making these rash decisions and statements without a plan of execution and follow through. And that's like the last thing you want to do when you're leading an organization of this size.
For sure.
I think the community's almost become accustomed, and it's been the cry the past 2 months. Oh, transparency this, transparency that, transparency, because things were getting said, but not getting done. So I understand those reservations, but that experience has been built off of a bad foundation. So just keep conscious of that, guys.
Bro, and I agree with you 100%. And the thing is, I think what your point is very valid. There's you have pressure for delivery, and then you have people that make rash decisions without weighing all the options as to what could actually happen. And I want to weigh all the options, just like Luca said. I want to listen to people in the community that are OGs in this space, just like we are, that understand where the space is headed. And the conversations that we've been having over the last couple of days with a lot of you guys is amazing, and the ideas that you guys have, it's really interesting. There's a test, if you guys ever want to take it, it's phenomenal. It's called Wealth Dynamics, and it basically tells you different profiles as to what is your wealth creation process, right? So you have creators, you have roles that are like Lord and different stuff like that. So when we're piecing this team together, there's certain pieces that need to match, and in that test, it's really amazing because different people can view the same thing, right? We right now we have Pudgy Penguins. We have hundreds of people right now listening, thousands around the world watching, right? I wouldn't say tens of thousands of people watching, and everybody's viewing it from a different perspective. And I want to tap into that information. I want to tap into that knowledge. I want to tap into that understanding. I really, really do. And I'm curious because I think that collectively we can absolutely smash it. Absolutely smash it.
And just to, I see him on as a speaker. Paulo, maybe you just want to introduce yourself briefly as, somebody that's going to be helping advise us here. Maybe you can give your little 2 cents.
Yeah. Hey, thank you for having me up here. My name's Paulo. I am an entrepreneur. I've been in media, entertainment, tech for the last 20 years. I've been an active advisor, and I've taken operational roles to turn things around. Some notable things that maybe some of the people in the audience will be familiar with is the careers of Logan and Jake Paul. I started with them in 2014 as an advisor, took them from Vine stars to boxers, took an active role through several crises that they went through to keep them afloat and to turn their businesses around and their brands around and keep them alive and keep them relevant, which is, I think, where I initially met Luca maybe 4 years ago, doing a successful business deal with Luca with both Logan and Jake. I've been the active advisor to the sole owner and CEO of Fashion Nova, which is a multi-billion-dollar annual revenue e-commerce brand. For 2 years, I took an active role internally as well as head of marketing. I oversaw the marketing department internally with 37 people in that department, where I also oversaw a number of other departments. In 2019, I entered the NFT space as an active advisor to Henny on the Damien Hirst currency project. In 2020, I created the NFT club in Clubhouse, grew that to 50,000 members, hosted about 40 different drops. Farouk was a co-founder. I've always been an advisor, manager behind the scenes, grew Farouk's brand into Rug Radio, which is big on Twitter these days, and just grew up as a graffiti artist, serial entrepreneur, self-made, been really active in turning brands around, working with very successful young entrepreneurs to guide, advise, and help them grow their businesses. And I'm here, I'm active. I have a personal relationship with Luca. I've leaned on Luca while I was internal at Fashion Nova for resources when it came to digital marketing, paid marketing. I know Luca on a personal level. I've seen Luca change the lives of influencers by building businesses around those influencers and making them financially profitable. I'm here. I'm a diehard NFT degenerate. I grew up a graffiti artist, so art and deal making are my
It's a
two.
dream. It's a dream come true, huh?
Yeah, there you go.
Facts, brother.
It's a little bit about me.
Love it, Paolo. And yeah, sorry you were up here waiting so long, bro.
No worries. And just to add, I'm going to add one more thing is, in my 30s, I created the third largest live music company in the world at $1 billion IPO on the NASDAQ in September of 2013, raised $275 million of debt and equity and bought 19 different businesses, merged them together, and grew that company. So I do have a lot of high level operational experience as well as advisory experience, and I fucking am a diehard NFT degenerate.
Paolo, people are gonna ask, I know, what was the name of that company
SFX
with
Entertainment, and it's now called Lifestyle.
Lifestyle?
Yeah, and I think just to touch on, I think, as Luca said earlier, there's a massive community here. There's a massive community that's put in a tremendous amount of time. I bought my first penguins for 0.1 6 months ago. I think I got out like 3 or 4. But you have a massive community of people that want to win and that are excited and that love their avatar and love the community and like being a part of this huddle. And when you combine that with good leadership and someone that's gonna invest their money and then invest their time, there's a lot of things that we could do in life. Time is the most valuable thing that we have. And for Luca to step in and say, hey, I want to put my money where my mouth is, but I also want to put my time, my connections, my relationships, my deal making skills to benefit everybody. I got to take my hat off to him for that one.
Literally, the golden hat. I'll take off my fish. I'll take off my fish to you, bro.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But I heard a question on the huddle chat, bro, about the marketing wallet. Luca, should we address what we talked about with the former team? How we basically told them that I forget. Should we post that screenshot? Share that screenshot about X moment forward. No funds could be touched. That it was all going to be dedicated towards the team.
Yeah, I think, and Cole even took a nice approach. It was like, beyond that date, like any future deposits or, staying in this wallet. And I think, just for you guys listening, we did come to an agreement where they would be funding a wallet, after the sale that would be used to, just take this thing, from when we take over the ship to just hit the ground running. So they're definitely being reasonable. And again, I really encourage everybody to empathize where you can. Not everybody is as experienced or skilled as one another, but that's fine. At the end of the day, like they're doing the right thing and they're trying to make it right, and we're working together as a team to make that happen.
Awesome, man. So just to clarify, there was something in this term sheet that you guys executed that said royalties from a certain date.
Yeah, so let me
essentially escrow, and they're
let me find it for you, bro. Give me 1 second while you guys keep talking. I'll give you the exact date.
But Luke, he even said, he was like, look, like they're not collecting any more money on these.
They're not touching a fucking penny. That's the point here. So as soon as Luca brought me in, the first thing I said is, yo, from this moment forward, y'all ain't touching shit.
They're even giving us their pudgies. They're forfeiting their pudgies.
They're forfeiting their pudgies. They're forfeiting their little pudgies. Everything.
Oh my god.
The whole thing.
Yeah.
So like, guys, we've come to the point where except Cole's account, the other founders' accounts, they're going to become ours. That's why, like, I'm going to be transitioning into Mr. Tubby's account, just so you guys know. So there's a lot of things that are going to be happening here. We're taking over the whole game, boys. So yeah, we're taking over Cole's Penguin, boys, boys and girls. So that when Luca brought this thing to me, I said, we're doing the whole thing. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm pumped. The fact that we can come into something like this with the experience and the seniority to make an offer of this level where we're like, yo, like this is what we're gonna do. And yeah, so Cole's Pudgy is also going to be surrendered. That people are laughing about in the huddle chat. So yeah, I'm trying to find this the screenshot when I took. Okay, so the exact moment was when Pudgies were at 0.86 ETH at, what day was it? It was like 12 p.m. or it was at 1 p.m. on what day? On Thursday. And I literally went in there and I have the screenshots. I'll probably post them somewhere. I'll probably post them on my Twitter account right now.
If you post them on your Twitter account,
yeah, I'll post a screenshot right now, and it says, this is the transition mark. So anything after this point forward, please do not extract. So let me post a screenshot. It's just going to be like one screenshot thing, so you guys can kind of see it. So it's an iMessage group. So let me post that. So when we're coming in with experience. We're coming in full takeover, boys and girls, and like we're ready to run this. So yeah, let me post this on my Twitter account so you guys can see it. And then,
but then Cole beyond that said, he was like, look, like even beyond this exact date, any deposit that we get to receive,
and even stuff that was before, right? Even that stuff that was before, like they said, they're not touching a penny. So let me post this so you guys can kind of see it.
But actually, agents continue up. Luke, you can do that in the background.
Yeah. So I'll stay watching your profile stacks, and I'll pin it if I can figure out how to pin a comment. But we have a lot of people on stage here who have already been waiting, and we have a couple big names who just came up on stage, big names in the huddle. So I just want to clear through some of these, trying to remember the order I invited you in, and sorry if I skip you, but let's start with Titan.
Hey guys, thanks for having me on here to speak. I appreciate all of your authenticity and genuine responses to this whole situation. I know we all really, appreciate the Pudgy Penguins. I've been here really since the beginning, just kind of watching the sidelines. But, I personally, build technology around NFTs, with Nifty Labs. We essentially turn NFTs into tickets for physical events as one of our products. I'd love to lend my support personally, but also the company support in, maybe adding a component to the new roadmap coming up. So thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
No, thank you. And just for everyone listening, we're inviting with open arms any entrepreneurs or, developers or whoever it may be. We want to listen to everything, and, there isn't any idea that we don't want to consider. And so, we have humility here. And if you want to help, we will accept your help. Nobody's too good to not help. And so I appreciate that. And I encourage, more narratives like that, because I think that's what's going to, take us where we want to be.
Amen.
Amen.
Awesome, Titan. Thanks, man.
Actually, that was posted on the profile, by the way, bro.
Yeah, I saw it. I just got to figure out how to pin to a space. So
no worries.
Mystic, you were in here and Twitter rugged you. It's acting up today. What's up, man?
Yeah, what's up, guys? I'm Mystic. I've been pretty much in the community for the last 6-7 months, and yes, I am convinced from this Twitter space of Luca and the team, of course. And yes, this is pretty much something many of us have been screaming for since pretty much when we took off and we got so big. And yeah, it's the thing with everyone that didn't want to be in the huddle or doesn't want to have a Pudgy right now has already left. We have hit the lows of the lows, and that's the thing with us. We've been holding on for so long, and we just have been vibing together and seeing a new team coming up. You guys with a lot of business experience is really, and telling the community to move to also start engaging with the new leading team, because that's pretty much what it was. We have so many good individuals that are very experienced in many ways, and that have been trying to work together with the team. And in the last months it was just all negative. And I also saw friends of mine just stepping away from the Pudgies because the team wasn't transparent enough, even though we really reached out our hands hey, we can help, we're very reliable, we can do, we're skilled. And yeah, seeing you guys step up with the business experience that you guys have, the marketing background, the connections, yeah, I think it's a good step forward for the Pudgies. And also with the crypto native people that have put a lot of work in this week with creating the wrapped penguins. It's a sign of how so many people want to see us succeed. And in comparison, any other NFT project that even had 10% of the amount of FUD that we had, definitely would have gone to zero. But we are still here. We're just vibing and enjoying our time in the huddle, and seeing you guys possibly taking over the ship as not the full decision makers, because you guys also think about the opinions of the community, of course. But yeah, you guys as being the executionists of the Pudgies in the future, I definitely see a positive change in here. And yeah, I support you guys with whatever you guys need and want.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I think we all appreciate it.
Thanks,
so thank
Mystic.
you, Mystic.
Appreciate it, big dog.
Thank you, Mystic.
That's awesome.
Totally NFF. You've had your hand raised for a while.
What's up, guys? Got my Pudgy back in August. Couple questions I have, and I know a lot of people in the Discord are asking the same thing, is obviously whenever you guys have plans and saying those plans or actually disclosing your guys' real backgrounds would somehow maybe mess up the deal flow or whatever. But with guys like VVD and Jeebus and the wrapping option, I know personally I'm 10x more comfortable trusting those guys and just wrapping my penguin, because they have a proven background, and I know us as the huddle or whatever can trust these guys because they have a track record of being strong advocates in the NFT community. So is there any way for you guys to provably show your guys' commitment or so-called expertise, because like from my view, it's just like we have such a viable option in just wrapping our Penguins with guys like Vincent and Metadrop pushing this, and it's just kind of so reminiscent of the Sushi situation where like Sam kind of stepped in for that transitionary period, but it was never like uni bought sushi, it was just like a transition into while the DAO stayed. And like if we were able to just be a DAO, that just seems like a more viable option than just handing it off to somebody we don't know.
Yeah.
So like how can you guys prove that?
I think first things first, if they're not going to sell it to me, they're going to sell it to somebody else, or us, and they're going to sell it to somebody else. So somebody's going to buy this. And I'm just 100% confident in that belief. In regards to the wrapping and unwrapping and what those guys are doing, like, dude, I support it. Because, if they see what we're doing and see what we're building, and that notion of wrapping is, and people want to go that direction, then you have my full support doing it, like, genuinely. And I think, our execution and what we do will stand the test of time. And, wrapped and unwrapped, they can live cohesively. And so, if those guys see what we're doing, I had already talked to some, like, they said, look, like, if you guys do what, you say you're going to do, like, I have no problem unwrapping, and everybody has that choice. And I think that's the beauty of Web3. That's the beauty of, living a life, is you have a choice. And I will always encourage, those to make a choice that's in the best interest of them. And I will never, criticize or look down on somebody, for making their choice. And so, in regards to that, whoever you think is, more competent leadership, I think, that's totally up for you to make your choice, right? There's Democrats, there's Republicans, there's moderates, there's, conservatives, whatever it may be. Like, everybody is open to a choice, and we can all live in harmony. And that's how I see the vision. And I think, again, like, where it takes there is you're open to make your choice and make the best decision that's, for you and your future. And you have my support, and there's nothing negative I'll say to that notion.
Hey, Luca, just to build off of that, and you had touched upon it in the Discord during that voice call, but does that mean, taking that stance, that you would not DMCA the wrapped Penguins from OpenSea?
If I DMCA them, I think that's totally counterintuitive to what Web3 is. And I think, it's easily distinguishable to see who is wrapped and who is unwrapped, and, I don't think there will be any confusion. I think it's very clear, when you go to the collections, you see who's what and, who's doing what. And unless the community came to me and said, look, we think you guys should take them down, I would obviously argue the latter, but it's a group decision. And me personally, I just don't feel like that is wise when we're trying to push, at the end of the day, a Web3 decentralized and free narrative. And if I start DMCAing people because they want to express or go in a different direction, then that would be totally contradicting my vision, my morals, and my integrity. And so for me personally, that is not a stance I'm going to take. And it's going to take a lot of, heat from the community and the team internally to convince me to do otherwise. I feel like, I'm a listener, and I'm all of the above, but this is Web3. This is decentralization. NFTs are an opportunity for artists and people to, express themselves. And who am I to say you can't express yourself? That's just not in line with the team that I'm trying to build.
Agreed. Mad facts there. Yeah, if that's the approach is, this is Web3. If OpenSea didn't have kind of like a centralization type factor, then wrapped the wrapped Pudgies would exist, right? And that's kind of what we're trying to respect. I don't know if that answered your question.
No, hey, I don't think you can be any more clear than that, right? The DMCA would go counter to the whole your Penguin, your choice, so to speak. Joe-san, you've been waiting for a while, Ralph. Sorry about that.
No, I appreciate it. Luca, great meeting you and the team, and appreciate you guys going deep into your backgrounds. I've been delisted since August, just following the saga, and seeing you guys coming in like this, something I think we're all wondering Penguins. Can you go into your background and give specific examples from deals that you've brokered and like specifically how you would structure licensing, advertising, media partnership deals between brands and Pudgy Penguins?
Yeah, so I had asked this. Somebody had asked me this question yesterday, and one of my strengths is I really believe I'm a deal maker. I think that's where I'm good. I think I'm a good leader. I think I'm an amazing marketer. I think there's very few that could market at the level that I can, and I say that in the most humble way possible. And I think I'm a really good deal maker first and foremost. And so I want to come into these deals and put the best deal on the table for the community. Structured wise, I've always been a revenue share type of guy. I'm not somebody who wants to take upfront money for anything. Obviously, the community will help decide in those decisions, and it's in my role is to bring the best possible deal to the table, and then the decision make the vote. But I'm one of those guys. I don't want to take upfront money from anyone. Every time that happens, whether I offer somebody an upfront amount or I've been offered the same, you always end up ruining the deal when you're on the flip side of that, because anybody offering X amount of money for to use the IP in any shape, way, or form knows they're going to make 5 to 10x on the back. And I've always been one of those guys where I believe in my capabilities and I like to be rewarded based on execution. And I like to move, I like that needle to move in a positive direction if I have a positive impact. And so from a licensing deals at a glance, obviously everything is subject to change. But, where I really stand is, for pretty much all of these deals, I do want to do some sort of revenue share structure. And for those that, don't want to, get on that, that's fine. But I feel like we're going to build, a big enough brand and an inclusive community that's going to, appeal to all of these companies. And so, in the past, over the last 6 months, I got 2 businesses acquired, and I also had, a multi-billion-dollar company, purchase into one of the businesses that I'm working on. And so I've, there's a lot of synergies in those people that I've already done deals with in terms of what they can do for us. And so, that I hope that answers your question.
I know what the question. Rogfather, what's up, bro?
Hey, thanks for having me up here.
Shoot, man.
So I made a terrible financial decision, which I thought was it was either going to be 10 IQ or 200 IQ, but I bought a bunch of mythical rods, and I'm wondering what you guys have planned, or if you have one, or maybe you don't have to have like a whole plan out right now, but is there any way you can save
do you want me to share something that I've kind of been brainstorming with some people? It's not a finalized thing, but I just want to toss it out there as just an idea.
Yeah,
you guys want to hear that? Okay, so because I hate the fucking rods, bro. I'm sorry, dude. I just hate them. I was thinking about some sort of rod sacrifice, and the rod sacrifice then allowing for the acquisition of an igloo, where you can display your NFTs. I think it's a fucking dope idea. And the rod is going to be over the fireplace as some sort of memorabilia of the past. So I've been visualizing some sort of thing where we can potentially eliminate some of the decisions that maybe weren't the best, and incorporate and gamify the experience a little bit. Those are things that I've been kind of playing around.
But nonetheless, it's a discussion that obviously Luke has his ideas.
It's just ideas. Is what I'm saying. Like we're thinking about a ton of stuff.
And it's really for me in my best, in our best interest that we try our best to fulfill the promises of the previous group. I think that's really important. Everybody had an expectation while they were huddling and chatting and just being integral parts of the community. And so it's important for me that we don't let you guys down, because, getting the goalpost moved is not a good feeling. And somebody like yourself, who probably spent a lot of money on these mythical rods, we have to make sure that, what we do doesn't affect you in a negative manner. I think that's super, super important. And, all of the collections made that are currently existing are going to have to be integrated into a giant ecosystem, and they're going to have to live together. Whether we do, maybe what Luke said, or, fulfill, what they were talking about with, maybe the ROGs being used to, gain some native coin, whatever it may be. we're obviously going to consult the brightest minds, our legal team, and then just make sure that we come to the best decision that's in the best interest of everyone. Though I think most people or everyone should not be worried in regards to the little Pudgies and the Rogs. I think they're, a key part of this ecosystem, and they're going to be, integrated, and they won't be forgotten. They're right up there with the main project. They're, live under the Pudgy Penguins ecosystem, and they're just as important as the first one, in my opinion.
Awesome. If you do switch it to igloos, if I could get like some kind of like MTV Cribs type of igloo.
Oh no, of course.
Oh damn, bro! You want a fountain in there? No, just kidding.
Yeah, he's the mythical igloo.
Yeah,
he's got a mythical rod, so he needs a mythical igloo.
Even if you guys notice, like the interaction Luca and I just had, we have like there's so many brilliant minds and so many different perspectives. Like we're discussing so many possibilities. So yeah, like we're down. Maybe we do some sort of I don't know, some sort of questionnaire, maybe some sort of Google Doc, something that where people can kind of voice their opinions, then get a team to kind of prune through it and see kind of what stands, And I think hearing from you guys, maybe you guys have better ideas than us. So just being able to kind of hear from you guys as well.
Sweet. Thanks for the answer.
I hope that answered your question. Yeah.
Love it. Golden.
Hey, Luca. How's everything going?
Good, and yourself?
Good. This is also hilarious that the Rog Father was right before me because I'm one of the other 7 mythic Rog holders. So people in the chat are saying, invite me to your mythic penguin castle or mansion. So I'm all about that.
Yeah.
But seriously, I just had 2 questions that actually are kind of related. My understanding is that, the penguin holders, you own the commercial rights to your individual penguin. So like I made a hoodie and I shared it in the chat of my individual penguin, but the founders and what you're buying are the IP rights to the brand, and that the community doesn't own the brand, but whoever buys it out, your team will own the brand. So I just have 2 questions, and if you can't, give specific numbers for various reasons, due diligence, private negotiations, not a formalized plan yet, totally understand that. So I'm just kind of interested in getting your commitment or perspective on 2 directly related issues. So the first one is, are you committed to providing some revenue sharing back to the individual penguin holders for NFT sales, whether it be on OpenSea or other platforms? And then what percentage, if you have one in mind? And then the second question, just the second question, then I'll get off. Second question is, I fully appreciate and am supportive of this thinking beyond just another NFT project and commercialization beyond it with cartoons, movies, whatever, partnerships, which you guys are experts at. My question for you is with respect to branding and intellectual property rights that flow from and are directly related to all those non-NFT direct sales. Are you committed to providing some type of revenue sharing back to the penguin holders, whether it be through a DAO community treasury? I mean, can we get your commitment today, even if you can't provide specific percentages or estimates? And that's all I got.
Yeah, no, and I think it's an important question, and it's a question that is so dependent on the legalities. It is so that is a question that will be determined by, the legal teams that we hire. And I say teams because it's going to require multiple different perspectives for such an important decision. And we will have a definitive answer to you shortly. In my opinion, it seems like the right thing to do. And I don't know, obviously there's so many semantics that go into the details of the deal, right? And, this is kind of, discussions that we have to have. But I am about inclusion and, a community growing with the project. And that really is my mission and my passion here. However, it is so contingent on what, the legal minds tell us that I just can't tell you at this moment, but my heart lies with you, right? And my goals and my motives are aligned with that vision. And if the law will allow it, I will do it.
And not just the law, but also the terms and conditions of OpenSea. I mean, if you go and read the OpenSea TNC, so many projects have been delisted for a rev share model that wasn't compliant, because it's not only potentially Pudgies that could get in trouble, but it's also OpenSea for potentially offering securities that are illegal that would get them in trouble, and they're not going to compromise a multi-billion-dollar enterprise for it. So that's something that as regulators start looking at the NFT space more carefully, OpenSea just had a hell of a massive raise, right? So they're getting a lot of eyes. So I think that they're going to be bringing in a lot more scrutiny, and they're going to be paying attention to what projects are doing. So I'm on this one with Luca. I think we would have to get back to you on that one. I know it's not what you want to hear in the specifics, but I think that based off of like the TNC of OpenSea and where we stand at the current state of rev share turning something into a security, I don't know how to circumvent it, but that would be tapping into the legal for sure.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that, and just your enthusiasm and commitment to trying to do what's best for the community is really the most important thing at this stage. So a lot of this is cutting edge legal issues. So I fully get that. But thanks for your time, man. I guess there was still the second question though about beyond the sales on OpenSea or whatever party platform, but what about restoring some intellectual property rights, not just the individual commercial rights to the individual penguins, but when you have potentially future, cartoons, movies, whatever. What do you envision, or are you committed to restoring some type of branding or intellectual property rights back to the community?
So I talked to the guys, because this was a big important question for me, and I talked to one of the biggest people in the NFT space, because I asked them about it. And the first question he asked me was like, what are the IP standings that Pudgy currently has? So I went back to the team. We talked to their lawyer team, and they said, at the current stage, Pudgy is set up as a non-exclusive licensing deal, right? That's what the ecosystem is set as. So we would have to honestly get back to you as to where we can push it to, right? Whether we're gonna take an approach when it comes to like Bored Apes, or whether we're gonna take an approach with regards to maintaining that current structure that currently stands. But if we do tap into, using your Pudgy for some sort of narrative, being able to get you in on that, right? So if that's what you're asking, is if we're going to tap into certain characters and certain things, the ability for that person who owns that character to participate in that.
Well, actually,
is that what you mean?
Beyond just the individual penguins participate, like the golden bowl cut I have, but what about just a cartoon series where the golden bowl cut is not featured, but other penguins are? What is the ideas or plans for restoring some type of branding or IP rights? I use those interchangeably for purposes here, because I think of the individual penguin holders, like my golden bowl cut, is belonging to the commercial rights rather than the intellectual property rights. I mean, what do you envision for, with respect to my question about where my penguins aren't featured in a cartoon, but it's still part of the Pudgy Penguins brand? What do you think about restoring IP rights or revenues from that cartoon series back to the community?
Yeah, I think that's a beautiful thing, and why I'm totally on board with some sort of DAO that's obviously in the confines and doesn't compromise us in any sort of way. I think in the situation where let's do a world where we collaborate with Funk Pop or Metacom or one of these guys, and Pudgy Penguins collectibles are doing tens of millions of dollars a year. The company needs, I feel like it's the right thing to do, that the community in some sort of way benefits off of that. I think that's like imperative, just beyond like obviously exposure and marketing, but I think some sort of financial incentive should be put in place. Again, these are just questions that I can't really definitively answer and give you a clear direction on until we have those conversations with legal. But from my core values, I think that sounds right. It sounds like the right thing to do. But
what we can say is that our lawyer team, or our team, is already on retainer. So they're already working, and they're on retainer. So I saw a question, like legal costs a lot of money. No issues whatsoever. There's plenty of that. So our lawyers are already in retainer, and Luca can validate for that, right, Luca?
Yeah, we have 2 groups on retainer right now.
Because actually, I think if you provide some mechanism to restore non-NFT direct sales, IP or revenue back to the community, that actually has a totally direct incentive for people to want to buy back into the NFT community, where it's going to actually
100%.
further NFT sales. So it's like a great circle. You provide this incentive for okay, you buy this NFT, and that gives you a ticket to potential revenue sharing for non-NFT sales that flow from the Pudgy Penguins brand. Well, I want to get in on that. So now we're going to have more NFT sales, which actually benefit everybody. So I think it's actually both in the community's interest. I know they want it, plus actually in your interest from a commercial perspective.
No, and we're completely aligned in that notion. Like there's nothing that you said that I disagree with. That vision is aligned with my vision, and I think a vision of the majority of the people on board, as well as the community. And we're gonna do, practice, our at the highest level to, get to that goal, because I think, what you're asking for is the right thing to do, and we're here to do the right thing.
Sounds good. Just want everybody to win. Sounds like we're on the same page.
Absolutely, brother.
Thanks again for your time, man. You guys are doing a great job.
Thanks, bro. Appreciate it.
Sure. And thanks, Golden, for your awesome questions as always, man. The Bowl Cup businessman. What's up, Cheryl?
Indeed. Hey, what's up, guys? I just want to thank you guys for being on here on Twitter and speaking with everyone, being transparent and everything. I appreciate it. I'm Chiro. I'm the community moderator for Pudgy Penguins. I've been moderating since July, since the beginning. So I've been the highs and lows with the community. And so one of my questions, it's a really important question that I have for you guys. I'm not sure if one of you guys want to take on this, but so my question is, what are your plans for day one? So let's say once the deal's finished, right? What are the first actionable changes that you guys are going to do? For me, as a community moderator, I'm hoping that there's a plan to ensure that there's a smooth transition. So I'm hoping that one of you guys are able to answer that question.
I love that question. And I think, first and foremost, it's giving you guys transparency, getting you guys a roadmap that we can execute on, as well as, telling you guys exactly who the members of the team are, because once the deal is done, we'll have that concrete. And so just, getting on calls with you guys to make sure you know exactly what's going on and answering any pertinent questions that you guys may have. I think on a second layer, it's going directly to brand partnerships and starting those conversations now that we can actually go to the table and, fulfill and actually pursue those conversations. I think another layer is, marketing. I have a lot of amazing ideas, and I think I want to just hit the ground running there. Obviously, Cole and team will be funding a marketing wallet, so there'll be no, friction. We can basically just go and hit the ground running. I think in the same breath is see where we can, mend some open wounds within the community and give you guys and make that place an inclusive place. I know there was some backlash about, maybe certain moderators not being compensated and, stuff like that. And we want to make all of those things right and just make sure that everybody's taken care of and that their time is being rewarded accordingly. I want nobody to, who's, helping us achieve our vision feel like they're getting cut short. That's really important. And seeing who else, within the community can come on board onto the team. And then just integrating into you guys. I definitely want to develop, a stream of consciousness where we have, one thought process together as one huddle, and we move in the direction together. Coincidentally, the way huddles work is, one person or, factions of the huddle can't really break apart, because if not, they'll freeze. That's just kind of a little insight on how penguins work. So they all have to stick together for the greater good to survive through the blizzard. So you guys have done a great job, huddling down during the blizzard. And I can tell you guys that blue skies are ahead. And, those kind of, at a glance, the first, couple days, what we plan on doing.
Yeah, thank you for answering the question. I appreciate it.
Rod, I love the analogy too, man. Heavy March of the Penguin vibes. Vito.
Awesome. This is my first time on Twitter Spaces. I'm Penguin number 311. Been supporting for a long time in the huddle, just watching this whole thing has been a pretty revolutionary moment for NFTs. But I really feel like the new team has a handle on the business, and I'm pretty confident of where we're going, and I hope everybody else in the chat is pretty confident. I'm also an entrepreneur. We're building accessible 3D spaces, NFT galleries. We're actually talking about building an igloo and showcasing some penguin NFTs to get the community excited. But nonetheless, I would love to know if there's any thoughts on like how the team could continue to bring diversity into the leadership and just kind of have different perspectives, not just the core group now, but continue to expand that out further.
Yeah, I think internally I talked to the team about this, but I definitely want to allocate, a portion of the business to bring, more people on as we grow and we scale. I think that's important to have that piece allocated, prior to getting the, things running, as time will, pass, more and more opportunities will arise, and, we're willing to, I'm about inclusion and, bringing people on to help execute on the vision. I think in regards to how we're constructing the team currently, I think it's really important to have men, women, people who are Black, white, Asian, Hispanic, all on the team, because I think these different cultural backgrounds give a different lens to look through. And it's really important to me that we cater to each individual lens. And so that's kind of our plans internally. And it's definitely a huge part of what we're trying to accomplish.
Awesome. Great to hear that.
Thank you for your question, Vito. Drew.
Hey guys, super pumped to be here. I'm relatively new to the community. Had my penguin for about 2 weeks now. I'm a software developer. I've worked at some of the biggest financial institutions in the world. As development lead on a team that saw $30-40 million a day in transactions. Kind of just obsessed with the markets. But I think there's 2 questions I want to ask, and I'm sure I'd be surprised if you had answers to either of them, but I think they're important to think about. I think the biggest event that's going to happen in 2022 for NFTs is going to be the launch of the Coinbase NFT marketplace. Like, we've talked a lot about OpenSea and the terms and conditions of OpenSea in the space, but OpenSea has less users that are on the Coinbase NFT marketplace waitlist. Like, the waitlist for Coinbase is something like 3 million people, where OpenSea has less than 2 million users. So let's just try and keep that in mind. So my first question is, how is Pudgy Penguins going to be listed on Coinbase? Coinbase is starting to announce their partners. I was just curious if you could give us any insight if there's conversations happening with Coinbase.
So I spoke with Coinbase. About 3 weeks ago, and they have 2 approaches. I can't give the specifics of the dates because I'm just not allowed to. But they're doing 2 things. First, they're doing they're like partners, but at the same time, they are contacting other projects and giving them beta access. So where that stands right now is, I think there needs to be a transition with the team. But after speaking with Coinbase, they have two dates, right? So they have 2 dates of, think about like the projects that have been announced. Then there's going to be the beta, and then it's going to go to public. So they have those things scheduled in line according to what the people at Coinbase told me. I think right now the importance is the transition, and then being able to approach them with like, hey, like, this is the roadmap, this is the game plan, and us huddling up and coming after Coinbase and being like, yo, like, let us in.
And to that point, I just think it would be irresponsible of us to neglect that exposure, and that is definitely one of the first things that I want to tackle and negotiate and figure out. Is getting that. I think, the more people that can access Pudgy Penguins, the more people can experience what it is to own one, and the more, exposure it gets, and the more smiles it gives people.
Yeah, awesome. Like super pumped about that. I think like one thing that's a big barrier to entry for maybe like the more casual users, OpenSea is not a very user-friendly platform. It's confusing to people. They don't understand. You have to transfer money to different wallets. Like for the average person, it's not possible to use. So I think it's really great that we're called maybe in alignment here about getting on Coinbase. So that was my first question. My second one, which like I feel it's my bones that the way NFTs are going to go in 2022, is gamification is probably going to be the single most important element. Like currently, there's airdrops and there's kind of static images, but the evolution is going to be uh, with with games and gambling for the most part. So I was curious what the plans are to gamify
Yeah.
Penguin.
Yeah. So I know the previous, founders or current founders, soon to be previous founders, had, insinuated that stuff and, had told you guys that that's what they wanted to do. And like I said a little bit earlier in this space, that I have every intention on trying to execute on what they promised you guys. The only reason why we wouldn't do that is for legal reasons, but other people are doing it and they're showing us that it's possible. So if they can do it, we can do it too. And so I have no reason to believe that that stuff won't happen. And I actually, am fortunate enough to have what I think is some of the best, NFT developers, on our team. And, I know from what they've done in the past that there isn't anything they cannot do. And so, I'm looking forward to, again, executing on the, promises made from the people before us. And I have no intention of, dropping the ball on the expectations that they set.
But if your question is there gamification that's being thought out, part of bringing strategic people into this is people that have that gamification background, right? It goes beyond devs, right? You need a gaming studio. You need people to understand Web3 integration. You need people to understand, okay, is it going to be a P2E, right? There's so many different dynamics because at the end of the day, like, okay, that's dope. But how many people are going to sit on their computer and play a game if there's no sort of reward mechanism? Like at the end of the day, there's real people that run real businesses that have real lives. But if your question is that in consideration and is that something that we're trying to bring into the new core team? 100%.
Yeah, awesome guys. Appreciate your time.
Drew, thank you so much for coming up and thank you for your questions, bro. Flavito.
What's going on, everyone? I just have a question. I see you guys are huge on Web 2.0, and you're saying that you're a big proponent on Web 3.0, but one of those Web 3.0 proponents is allow.
I think we lost him. Is that just me?
I
No, I lost him.
I was wondering if Twitter rugged him or rugged me because with
No,
this app,
I can't hear him either.
It could be other. Flavito, do me a favor. I'm going to move you back to the audience. Try restarting your app, rejoining the space, and I'll invite you up so we can get your question answered. But you got rugged, bro. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and I think I kind of think what he was alluding to, and it's kind of what I've been speaking about. I've had a lot of conversations today about this. Like, there definitely needs to be, there's a balance between how do we structure this so that the community, has ample power in voting systems, and how can we lead? And the semantics as to exactly how that's going to work, we haven't figured out yet. But I've talked to a lot of guys that are, pro rapping and their opinions and what they think is in the best interest of the community. And I'm receiving them and I'm working on a way to have a balance of them all. Because I think he was kind of alluding to, well, you're truly not Web3 if, the community doesn't have the power. And, our intention is to create something that has a perfect balance between what we think is in the best interest of Pudgy, as well as what we think is in the best interest of the community, and giving some power to the community in, however facet that we decide. But, I had some really, really interesting and insightful conversations today with a couple people that are definitely pushing that narrative. And I don't disagree with what they're saying. I think there's definitely a lot of, insight and value and clarity that I received. And, internally, it's just about, creating the perfect system that has the most balance. And so, we've yet, today was the first day that I really understood that perspective and what they were trying to accomplish. And so I haven't had much time into, coordinating a plan and seeing exactly how we will do what. But the objective is I did listen to those people. I do understand, where they're coming from. And there is going to be a happy medium in which, we're properly incentivized to build the company into what it's supposed to be, as well as, giving power to the community. And so I don't know the specifics yet, but just know that like voices are being heard and that we're listening.
Wonderful. Well, Flavito, I hope that answered your question. Child, sorry there, bro. I skipped over you. What's up, man? Good to see you.
Hey, no worries. And good to be chatting with y'all. I've been a member since August, so it's good to, like everyone has said, we've been through the ups and downs, and it's good to have folks who really care getting around to talk about it. And that's actually what I wanted to ask about is, do y'all plan on kind of continuing the spaces format for the community kind of discussions? Because that's something I know the community's been kind of crying out for a while and hasn't really been executed except sort of by folks like agents and others. So obviously it seems like y'all are receptive to that, but would love to hear more about kind of what you think engagement with the community looks like, and if this is a forum that you're interested in continuing, as well as sort of the Discord chats.
Yeah, one of the biggest lessons that I've learned over the last couple of years being an entrepreneur is communication. Your business will fail if communication isn't impeccable. And I understand this. And I think this is more relevant with an NFT project more than pretty much any other business. And so we're committed. Like I told the team, if we have to get on a space every single night for the next 365 nights, then that's what we got to do. Like it's important you guys understand what we're doing, what we're working on. And just like any good relationship, it's built on communication. If you can't communicate with people, and again, there's going to be power. You guys will have power. Like that's, I want to create a system where, you guys have just as much power as us. And so we have to listen. And, that's something that we're working on. And, communication is key. And, that's going to be one of the top priorities for us internally, is to make sure that you guys are, informed every step of the way, because you guys will be helping dictate decisions, right? How we format that is, currently being conceptualized, but, the power is just going to be just as much you guys as it will be mine. We're one huddle. And like I said, the community will help dictate which direction we go, and we'll set up the proper systems in place, whether, however we structure a DAO, or again, I talked to many people today, and we conceptualize a bunch of ideas, and it's just a matter of, picking through the ideas and figuring it out. I just think internally, one thing we do need to do is, if it's not us who's going to buy it, there's many other people who have put similar bids that, you guys don't know about, that haven't been made public, that have been made aware to me, internally, that like, there's like 6 companies trying to buy this, right? So if I say, hey, we're not going to buy it, we're going to try to do it some more to, systematic way, somebody will purchase this, right? At the designated price. And there's no pushing against that narrative. We're not the only offer that stands. Obviously, you guys know of some other people's offers, but I know of a multitude of others on the background that you guys are 100% not familiar with, because only me and the current Pudgy Penguins team know about them. And so I believe that our intentions are pure, and we want to, completely embody the Web3 ethos and, what it is to be an NFT project and decentralized. And I don't know the intentions of the other people making those bids. So for us, like, it's important that we get there, we're in, and then we adjust accordingly based on the wants and desires of the community.
And I want to make something clear, guys. I want to make something clear, because if you guys aren't getting ultra concise, ultra specific answers that you want at this moment, it's because they're not fully there, and that needs to be understood, right? So I'm on the huddle chat, and I've seen some comments. That's what Cole said 4 months ago. I want to make a few things clear. We're not Cole. There's no comparison here whatsoever with somebody that's early in their 20s, that is in university, that has no business acumen experience, no connections, no resources, no relationships like we do. When we are talking in this manner at this point is because we want to be transparent, but at the same time, we want to be able to deliver on our word, right? So if we're not dancing or dilly-rounding on anything. We want to make sure that what we say stands. And if we don't have the final answer, which is very understandable, it's been less than 100 hours, right? That's the reason. So be patient with us. We're doing this because we love the fucking Pudgy Penguins, brother. And that's the game plan. So we're not Cole. We're not the old team. We have experience. We have dedication. We have assets. We have resources. We have connections. And truth be told, this is going to be the second wind and the second breath that the Pudgy Penguins needs to get back to the top.
And hey, I appreciate it, guys. Thanks.
Thanks, Child.
Thanks for your question. Guys, we've been going 2 hours here. I think, yeah, I know, right? Time flies when you got good alpha going. But I think we're gonna wrap this up, and leave the door open for maybe another AMA style thing like this, as this situation develops. Are you guys game for that? Maybe bring in other members of the team too, and have some more back and forth. You want to just end with statements?
Yeah. What I can say is I'll give you guys an example, right? Our legal team doesn't work on Sunday. So on that side of like updates, just know like our team has families, they're married, just so you guys get an understanding. Expect an update in 72 hours with more specific, like ultra specifics about certain areas, okay? By Tuesday, Wednesday, our goal is by at some point next week to be able to sit down with you guys again and give you guys a lot more concise answers on some of these things. So, yeah, a lot of our team doesn't work on Sunday, especially on this legal side, even though we push them and we're like, we'll pay you more. They're like, no, dude, like we're not doing this. So understand that as well, that we are also on other people's time that don't work on the weekends, that don't have the same level of importance towards Pudgy that we do, right? So we're going to still be doing our thing. We'll still be here. But for more updates and more specific things, it'll be in the beginning of the business week.
Awesome. Well, thanks for joining, guys. And this was a historic AMA. If the sale does go through, I hope it does, and this will most definitely make it into the documentary. You guys know there's a documentary being made about the Pudgy Penguins, right? Heard about this?
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely, brother.
Yeah, it's step one. So thanks again, guys. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks
everybody for having us. Actually, hey guys, have a blessed weekend. Have some good time with friends and family, and yeah, let's huddle up because we're gonna fucking crush this.
Blue skies ahead, baby. Blue skies ahead. It's gonna be a warm summer in the North Pole.
Let's go. All right, guys. Y'all have a great night.
Thanks, fam. Have a good rest of the evening. Peace.
Peace.